Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to welcome you to the Divine Intervention. I am your host, Erlisha Young Rents. I pray that thus far that your week has been blessed and that you are resting and relaxing, enjoying your weekend. And always, I want you to know that beyond the four walls and the divine intervention stand proxy for you. If there be anyone in their hour of bereavement, we speak peace and comfort right now. And to anyone who may be sick or whatever it is that you may be dealing with in this time, we want you to know that the joy of the Lord is your strength and that we stand in prayer and in the gap for you. On today, we're going to be talking about the topic of unity. And I have one of my brothers in Christ, one of my friends here with me today. He is not a guest, he's actually family and in partnership with Beyond the Four Walls. I'm going to relinquish my mic and I'm going to allow him to greet you all, and we're going to go forth.
Hello, brothers and sisters. My name is the Chaplain Kenneth Mr. Gladiator Johnson. I'm the president and CEO of Gladiator Outreach Foundation and the Gladiator Investment Firm. And I'm thankful and welcome to be here today.
All right, you guys. All right, we're going to go ahead and dive in this thing. I don't know if many of you know myself and Kenneth Johnson, Mr. Gladiator, Chaplain Johnson, all of the many titles that he has in the kingdom. We have known each other for many, many, many years. We have watched each other. I know many of you are familiar with the song, "We started from the bottom, now we're here." God has allowed us both to watch each other evolve and transition through life. But it is a blessing to know that when God says what he puts together that no man can put asunder, that's what it is. And a lot of times we just want to associate that with marriage. But no, what that's saying is that when God has strategically put something together, that there's nothing that can come into life to separate it. And what that means is that sometimes, relationally, you'll be married and the Lord will allow you to bring other people in the equation. But what I'm saying to you is the things that God intended for us to do in the kingdom together, no matter where we went in life, God is still doing what he does. I want to just read this scripture to you, and then I'm going to allow him to just respond to some things that the Lord has put on my heart. But John 17:21 reads, "That they all may be one, as thou, Father, art in me, and I in thee, they that also may be one is us, that the world may believe that thou hast sent us." Meaning, if we are one in Christ, we will have unity with one another. So that means what? The unity that is being displayed lets you all know that it doesn't matter what your ministry title is. Beyond the Four Walls is, of course, the ministry that God gave me. But God gave you what?
Gladiator Outreach Foundation.
So Gladiator Outreach Foundation and Beyond the Four Walls, we have come together and we're going to get kingdom work done. So what is that saying? That it takes spiritual maturity to be able to say, you know what? God gave me this. God gave you that. So let's come together and reason and see how we can build God's kingdom together. That takes maturity. Okay, because we know what? That in Gainesville, there are a lot of cliques. So what would be one of the things that you would think causes us to click up rather than just get outside of ourselves and just do whatever we need to do to build the kingdom together?
Well, personally, I think it's way before our time that this was established, even before then. I mean, that the division of religion and money is what caused evil, but also what separates us, divide us. And everyone wants to be that one, but everyone don't want to go through the suffering and struggles to be that one. So nothing worth having don't come overnight. It come with struggle, down, heartache, pain, blood, sweat, and tears. And I just think that the house, and I can speak by Gainesville, it's been divided for quite some time. It started with a lot of history, which is racism and a lot of corruption and a lot of violence and a lot of evenness. Tonight is even worse with gun violence. That all this evenness that was laid doormat, it was there all along, just in ran wide because we as the people never came together in unity. Because if God predestined you and called you before you came out your mother's womb, and you was chosen, as he talked about in Jeremiah, if all us come together, if we just let God have his way, it would all make sense while he brought us all together. You know what I mean? But by us not communicating with each other and always getting the union, always want to judge a person from the outside, not knowing what make that person be who they be and what make them do what they do. See, but the God I serve, and the God I know, and God tells me that man look at the outside. Yes. People judge the outside, but he judges our heart. Yes. So therefore, if we say we love God, why is we not following the same manual that God?
That's it.
But we say, they think that. No, it just could be a reason why they do that.
From my understanding, kingdom building. Okay, I think about the scripture, and I was in a leadership seminar on last Saturday, just basically talking about why we do what we do. God has called us to kingdom build. That means that we have been put in the different charges, whether that be chaplain, whether that be elder, whether that be pastor, whether that be prophetess, whether that be apostle, whatever your place in, God has charged us with bringing his kingdom down to earth. So those that God has charged us in those places and in those places for real, we understand that it's about winning souls in whatever way that God has gifted you to win souls. So that means if it's gladiator outreach, you winning souls. If it's beyond the four walls, you winning souls. If it's chocolate factory, for whatever it is, no matter what the name is, it's not about the name, it's about the mission. And we are supposed to be coming together to build God's kingdom on earth, which means that if it's God's, that means it's going to be God ordained, God orchestrated, and God led. So that means us as God's people need to let God be God and bring this thing to fruition. One thing that I struggle with, you talked about the gun violence. If all of us, and I start with me first, believers, we have this fire that we say that of the Holy Ghost on the inside of us. From my understanding, fire consumes whatever's in its midst. So if all of us come together and we got all of this fire working, it's going to stop the devices of the enemy. Because it's the enemy that's running rampant. And it's basically, I made a post on yesterday, all the enemy does is just praise off of the things that are on the inside of us that he knows are not of God. And he has his way, and he has people operating in ways that they don't even understand, because you just said God knows the heart of a man. A lot of times we don't know what's on the inside of us, but through unity it brings forth strength. What would be your take on what I just said?
Well, what I would say, and what I have observed, that with people and with gun violence, we grieve about it, we complain about it, but we're not acting on it.
You think it's because of fear?
Oh, it's a lot of got to do with fear, and some just don't know how. Some say they want to help, but some don't know how. But we got to be real with ourselves. You can't go and feed the community and think that's going to change the community from gun violence. You can't go and have no comedian or whoever come and talk to us, and this generation say that ain't to stop. They gonna stop gun violence. It ain't stopping our era. And this era generation is the generation that came after my era is way worse. So my thing is you got to be aggressive. Just like the enemy aggressive, you got to be aggressive. You can't be coming holding it down and coming when all this. No, you got to be aggressive. See, with me it's different because I got scars and wounds, or heartache and pain, or my brother, or my family, and my best friend got killed. So the police don't got to ask me. I'm not doing it for the police. I'm not doing it for the city. I'm not doing it for nobody else. It's because my heart have been wounded by it. It's never over. Yeah, I can't bring my brother, my loved ones back, but I have to use that energy to try to prevent another parent, another family member from going through the same thing. How bad you want it? See, I know what we fighting, and so I never got so caught up in these cliques because I already know based on what they say and how they act. I already know that we ain't on the same level. You know what I mean? If the Bible tell us we're not wrestling against flesh and blood, but even principalities in high and low places. So we got to look every time somebody got killed or the murderer have went to jail, that the murders don't stop.
That's right.
It's still going.
That's right.
Cause that same enemy who have did it and who doormat, who done came bought homes, you know what I'm saying, leading in this our whole community that's overtaking our community doing the same thing. When one spirit go, the dead, the other gonna go to the next. That's why it's always happening. So until we get spiritual and go spiritual fight with the enemy, we're gonna always bend and lose this battle.
I can think about a time, and I wasn't raised in Gainesville, but I came from one of the little country towns. But there was a gathering that they once did. They called it Meeting at the Pole. And that's when all of the community churches would get together and they would pray. And during that time of prayer, that unity, it will provoke change. But of course, back then, gun violence, domestic violence, all of those things weren't as prevalent as they are now. They still existed, but it wasn't, out there like it is now. And with this generation, I won't say that this generation is bad. They just have a lot of wisdom and they don't know how to channel it. They don't have the examples, because I can just think back to my grandma. Me and my grandma had a conversation about some things, and she apologized to me about, things that may have been happening with my mom. And what she said was, I'm sorry because that happened because of how I was raised. So we were raised in an era where you don't do what I do, you do as I say. This generation here, they don't do what we say, and they don't pay attention to what we do, because a lot of us are not doing things that grasp their attention. Number one, there are a lot of single family homes, so there's not a father and a mother in the home, which has a big impact on a child. So when a child does not have A, that guidance, when they don't have B, the atmosphere to be able to go home and say, Mama, I'm being bullied. Mama, I'm dealing with this. Mama, I'm dealing with that. They have to harbor all of that stuff. And what does the enemy do? He preys on it. And it doesn't matter because they're younger. That's still a soul or a life that he can contaminate. So here you have this person who has all of this stuff bottled up on the inside of them, and then here comes a moment and something happens and they have a state of rage, and rather than, cry out or say, I need help, they result to fighting or gun violence. So it's not necessarily, I don't even believe that it's something that they necessarily wanted to do, but there's an enemy behind them that's provoking them. Would you agree with that?
I agree, and it started from the beginning. As one thing I noticed from the time I was coming up and compared to now, and I studied categories. That's why I like dealing with kids. So it helped me stay in tune with each generation. understanding. So it's like I do my own little data, my own research, talk to them. But what I noticed, kids from generation in generation, from the beginning, don't care about what you know to see how much you care.
That's right.
See, let's go back to the heart again.
That's right.
They can tell if you're doing what you're doing from the heart, and you really care, or you just doing it. You know what I mean? So they can sense that. It's just a sensor that kids and teenagers that I knew when I found with it didn't take much for me than what my coach gave me love. They took me out. They talked to me. They gave so therefore when I played football, I did whatever it take. All blood, sweat, and tears to wanna keep that happy because that's what they showed me. Me personally, I don't need a coach and nobody to be over me, to watch me, because my mind made up. I'm not gonna be that next one. I'm not fit to be the drug dealer that I've seen others athletes. I ain't gonna be the one that own the drugs or nothing like that. So therefore, my mind was all made up. So I ain't need no coach to be looking on my head if you always want to see something doing right or wrong. My mind is already right to do right. By the love that you showed me, because I would feel some type of way when these people didn't put all this, invest all that into me, and I just go out and turn up and be nothing. That's like a slap in the face, you know what I mean? So I take pride in the love that coaches share with me, adults, the village that's the late road that share with me. I got to make me something, you know what I mean? That's that driving force that allows me to keep going to one day be able to make it right.
But the thing about it is, that's very important. A lot of them, they don't have that. They don't have that person to go to and say, I'm having these type of feelings. Because in this dispensation of time, a lot of kids are being left to themselves.
Right.
They in the AC, they got their cell phones. Most times, especially if they're in a single family home, mama or daddy is out working, so they left to themselves to be influenced by music, social media.
Yeah.
They don't have, see, when we grew up, grandma them, if grandma called auntie and auntie say you done XYZ, okay, grandma gonna get you, but auntie done got you before you got home. But see, nowadays, a lot of parents don't want their children to be disciplined. So that village that we used to have, we don't have that no
Right.
more. You know, you don't have the neighbor across the street looking up, look, hey man, I'm trying to let you know something don't look right across the street. So a lot of stuff is just being swept under the rug, because people don't want to address somebody as child because they worried about what the parent gonna say about it. And then some of us as parents, we don't believe that our children would do certain, look, when I was able, and I'm gonna just talk about mine. One day, one of my children, I won't name the one, I saw their cell phone, and I was like, oh my. I had no idea that my child could put those words together like that. So that's when I was in like a little culture shock. These kids got their own little things going on with these little cell phones, you know, and then you got cyberbullying. You got people texting all kind of stuff. You got children committing suicide because they don't talk to us, because what? We was brought up in that generation where you do what I say, not what I do. So it's hard for them to come and say, Mama, I'm dealing with such and such. So when they get in that moment of, well, the pressure done bust the pipe, and they done responded to a situation based off of how they felt for that moment, now you got lives being taken. Now you got people being hurt. Now you got families being hurt. All because I was in a conference. And one thing the young lady said, and it resonated, she said, what I encourage you all to do as parents, as a culture, as a people, is to start listening. Because if we listen more, the kids, this generation would tell, these kids are not dealing with the things that we dealt with. So we can't address these demonic forces and these spirits with them same old pity-pat prayers that we was praying in last season. It's going to take strategy. It's going to take us coming together. And that means we got to get outside of ourselves and our agenda and focus on the kingdom.
I agree. And the thing about it, the reason why, before I even thought about non-profit organization, now I didn't even go to school for this. All this was built and designed, strategic design from the heart. I used what I went through, what I came up out of, came out the Boys Club, the City Parks and Recs, and all these programs that was out there offering our community. I made it out. God, grace, and mercy. But a lot of my generation didn't make it out. And I looked and studied the things that made them fall short, why they didn't make it out. Because I looked at the actual covenant, the system that government, the city of Gainesville, from the time I was born in 78, it probably before my time, and after that time I discovered that it was never designed and structured for us. So this was going on right now. It was designed and structured for it to be that way, based on how they got it. They just do just enough to say that they're doing, but we're never doing enough to make it sure be effective, to make sure you overcome your struggles. That's the same thing with the schooling and the teaching, that the stuff they were teaching in school is just don't get you ready for the real challenges after 18, or just coming up in a household of struggle. So, me personally, I was the change. I created myself and put my life as a sacrifice to be the change I want to see happen for my community. Now, I came with a lot of heartache and pain. Nobody knew but me and the good Lord and the enemy. From the time when I seen the struggle as a child, I seen it through my daddy lifestyle. I did my homeboys, my family and friends lifestyle. So I prayed for want to be that change. I knew I was determined to be that change. So I knew how to navigate. The God ordered my steps to navigate through the system to be that change. But what you had to do first is take away everything I love. Family, football, mama, daddy, everything. So I'm the only one that he answered to. Before, in the natural, I thought I was cursed. I thought I was something like, why me? I think, oh, I'm finna go football, all that. But why does it have to do with my high school career? Why, but it was, he wanted me to go through it, to understand, to come back and change it. See, now I'm coming back and changing it. It took me a while. It took me from 2007 to now, I say 17 years, that I had to endure everything just to become who I am today. But I won't trade it for nothing in the world. I love my mom and daddy and brother and all the one kid, but at the end of the day, I won't want to change none of that to be who I am right now. Because I know it's part of his family. I can never question that. I just know that, or I understand. But my driving force is to make sure it won't be in vain. If I had to suffer like that and had to lose all this, I want to make sure I make it count. So that rate, I don't need nobody to motivate me. I'm already motivated by what I done endured and had to overcome what I done seen. So that's why I work alone, because it's me and the Lord. I can handle him. I don't have to worry about nobody trying to portray and all that. I like to study and watch what's going on. So what I did, city planning board, school board planning board. I've been on all the boards, set all the tables. Not because I really want to be a part of them, but I just want to learn who is who and what is what. He taught me. I self-taught myself. God taught me and coached me about what's going on. I asked questions. I want to meet with all these people, countless county commissioners, city commissioners, mayors after mayors, a secret. Me and them and the good Lord. So therefore, they know why I was meeting for them then, but I was doing it for a reason that I'm fit to use for now. But even now, it's so much bigger than what I know. So I said, I'm like, whoa, But that's why I created the organization. Because it's bigger than me, but it's not bigger than the organization. It's bigger than me, but it's not bigger than the team. Because God, I seriously say I can do all things, but me doing all things, it don't mean nothing, because once I leave, then everything going to go back to one. So, you put people in right place and position. So this system, it looks like an organization, but really a support system. Designed and structured as an organization. And use all the organizational features, but it's a support system. So this system that I have in place, I know it's one of a kind. I know it's like that because it's a new thing. It's nothing that man could say. He say he doing a new thing in me because he know the same kind of drive I had when I was on the football field. He know once I became, it's different. It's so easy to be who I am with confidence and faith. I know who I am. That's why he made me like that.
Because the word says, humble yourself before the mighty hand of God.
Mm-hmm.
And he say, in due time, I will exalt you. So you're not exalted by man. And to me, that's a blessing, because when God does a thing, man is not supposed to be able to understand. It's not supposed to make sense to man, because when he brings it to pass, they gonna know that it was God. And it makes me think about Beyond the Four Walls. Beyond the Four Walls came from my heart because I know what it's like to be church hurt. I know what it's like not to go to church because of how people have treated me. See, people don't realize that behind what appears to be glory, that there's a story. And in that story, people don't know the hell that goes behind when you step out and say, I'm fixing to be a generational game changer. I'm fixing to do this for God. So that means if I'm going to do this with God, that's why God say a collective group of men and women coming together to do kingdom work. So that means whatever your gift or your talent is, let's get together and get some kingdom work done. That means I got to get outside of my agenda. You got to get outside of your agenda. And we got to do what God says do. First, to love him with all of our heart. And then next, to love one another as we love ourselves. What the world needs more of is God's love. Not the streets' love. Not our version of love. Not all of these different versions of love that have been put in the forefront. Because God's love, which is who God is, it changes things. I can tell you, when you encounter what God's love looks like, when you get in his presence, and you get in his presence for real, it wakes up something on the inside of you. It causes you to want to kick down doors, because you can identify with some of the places that people have been in. And that's what caused you to want to provoke that change. So if you want to provoke that change, why is it all of these clicks?
And I mean, it just...
That's the answer.
Yeah.
Why are we fighting against each other rather than coming together and allowing God to be God and not letting our agenda reign? I realize that, it takes finances to do certain things. But Jesus dying on the cross didn't cost no money. That cost his life. So that means if we gonna do this thing, we gotta allow God to be God. And when we trust God for real, if God gave you a vision, he gave you provision. So that means we ain't got to pull on the people, because he said, before I formed you in the belly of your mother's womb, I knew you. Jeremiah 1:5.
Yeah.
And then what do 29 and 11 say? I know the thoughts. I know the plans that I have for you, to prosper you and not harm you. So if everybody's standing on 29 and 11, what's the problem?
But it's the eyes. Anybody can talk in the four walls, but it's when you step out and that natural eyesight, it's all the same. I'm gonna tell you something, but I do it what a lot of others ain't get to do. See, like I said, I was up every group. I was able to see most of the pastors pretty much running all East Gainesville, and not knowing, I'm sitting at the table, I'm studying all of them. See, I'm a spirit. I can sit back to you, and I can feed off your spirit and sit there and watch you and talk. See, people don't know, well, if you is like that, you can do that. So I saw them watching.
But I'm going to say this. People judge you off of your past. So when you say that, they disregard it.
Right. But what I noticed, and I'm connected to the streets. I did that. I built the street before I even started this journey. By feeding streets, by feeding the generation that I was taking, not knowing that it was a plan that them same people I know I need along the way, this journey. So when I want to know something in the community, I know where to plug in. I don't have to look for community. That's why I call it community Canada on Facebook. But I always had that bond with the street, cause I represent the street. I come from that. But what I learned and heard something about this pastor, that pastor, that pastor, that pastor, and I got unconditional love for the pastors. So therefore, I never broadcast it, but it's a learning to understand.
Or how not to behave.
Yeah, it's a learning to understand them, but then I look at it from the perspective and put two together, like, oh, okay, dang, yeah, but cause I'm not in the bashing business. I don't get no profit from that. But I do want to learn if all these people got this man got all these people in the church. I want to study this man, see what is that draw to people. And then in midst of me studying this man, you find some stuff that you didn't expect to see, but then you say, okay, he's human. Yeah.
Human.
So I'm saying that to say that, yeah, we know ain't no perfect pastor, ain't no perfect church.
Ain't no perfect nothing. But I know this day and time and what's going on around the world is making it real hard for the churches that's today. It's nothing like they grew up and thought it's going to be tomorrow. Yes.
See, if a lot of the pastors knew what they know now, a lot of them probably won't become a pastor because it's the change.
Warfare.
Yeah. So therefore, I have seen some of the greatest breakdown. You know what I mean? God allowed me to be in position to know some of the toughest ones is really going through, and some of the toughest ones ain't get to where they at by praying and doing the right thing. If I was to say, when I study public corruption and public integrity, it don't stop with it goes who connected to it. We come up in the era of saying guilty by association. I have friends that went to jail of being accused. I have been accused just by being around people saying, because they drug dealer or they were labeled as drug dealer, because I'm around them, I'm a drug dealer, guilty by association. So therefore, it have been a lot of errors and things that going on. Y'all gonna hear about, some people gonna hear about it coming up. It's fresh off the press. It's hot. But getting hot right now, showing us coming out. But it's a lot of corruption that even pastors got their hand in jobs that they shouldn't have their hands in the job. It's pastors that we look at as good pastors, as they respectable pastors based on their word, have really sold their soul to the devil. And yeah, God can easily forgive all of us. I'm not judging them, but I know for a fact, if I was to put down and open book to the feds and all that, and they do the tree, that pastor, some of these people will be connected to this unjustly thing. So I'm saying that to say that all this was happening around us, and it's the Spirit. God, He won't. He's not happy with what's going on in His community. He's not happy with the way people have been exploiting our people in the church and not giving back to the church. To the people.
The church.
The people the people is the church supposed to be. We could quote it and say it. I hear people say it on Facebook, but is they living it in their church? If they're really doing that, if they're doing that, then they won't be doing the thing they're doing. So I'm saying, so like I said, he didn't put me. I learned from it, but I'm keep on because it just add to the driving force. But the things people I want out there is more deeper than what meets eye, and I got to bring these people to the forefront. Within this quarter. I'm fresh off I'm on it because they took from me, they took from my generation, and they took from us great big money. And it's hurt me to know that so many lives could have been changed, so many lives could have been saved if we had a portion of the money that was taken from us proudly and with joyfully. You know what I mean? So, like I said, the system that the government, the city of Gainesville, they got a lot of government officials that they was corrupt. There's no secret, it's corrupt. I can look from every department and show you corruption. So I'm not coming back to Gainesville to continue to wrestle. I'm just coming back to just continue to raise awareness, do what I do. But everybody need to be held accountable. That's between them and God. But I'm going to do what I need to do, and I'm going to make known what needs to be made known. And I'm going all in for those who need to be going all in because He built me for this. He equipped me for this.
Well, if you think back to like Martin Luther King and all the different ones who had an impact in our life, especially as a African American culture, black culture, whatever you want to call it, whenever you want to provoke change, you're not gonna be a favorite. People are gonna lie on you. They're gonna talk about you. People gonna misunderstand you. People gonna come up against you. So anytime you sign up to do kingdom work, adversity is gonna come at you. But what today I hope was for you all was to just see that no matter what agenda we have as a ministry, as a culture, as a people, as what it is, it's not about our agenda. It's about God's agenda. And we know that God is not happy with the things that are going on, especially in our community. But we also know that sometimes God is not the author of it, but He will allow things to come upon us. The word of the Lord said, my people who are called by my name. And the first thing is us as a people need to humble ourselves. That's the first thing that God is calling us to do. And it takes humbleness to be able to unify with somebody. It takes maturity to be able to do that. So I pray that on today that there was something that was said that not only encouraged you but enlightened you to just, get outside of your help, yourself, and unite with your brother or sister that's maybe on the same road with you. What can we come together and do to bring change in our community? Again, this is a divine intervention. I am Erlisha Young Rents. Most times we go live on Wednesday night, but life be lifing. But if we're not live on Wednesday, join us on Saturday at 1 p.m. I love you all, but before we sign off, I'm going to allow Kenneth to encourage you all, and then we're going to sign off. I love you all. God bless.
All right, I just want to, while I'm here, I'm use this opportunity to make some announcements. As I said before, I'm the chaplain, president, CEO of Gladiator Outreach Foundation, and I'm coming back to Gainesville not because I need money, because God has blessed and favored me with a lot of money. I ain't coming to Gainesville because I need favor, because God has blessed and favored me with a lot of favor. I really don't have no need for nothing for Gainesville but the people that I'm loyalty to and that God allowed me to be able to come back for, because these are my loved ones. Never forget where you come from. So in the back, Gladiator Outreach Foundation, we finna start this year. We have several events that we're gonna participate in, community events. One gonna be a public safety event that we're gonna do. The other one gonna be an event for Eastside High School. Some things I want to do for Eastside High Schools, and also I got a labor reunion coming that the organization gonna help with that also. But I'm saying that to say that if you know me, you got to know me. If you don't know me, I pray for you that you get to somebody who do know me, can help you understand. But don't judge me by the chapter you come in on, because you don't know how I am or what I do. I mean, without Facebook, I am who I am, and I do what I do. I got a proven track record in the courthouse, in the court system, and in the political system. I did that. But this time, I'm not coming to do much talking. I'm coming to act. I'm coming to put that paper on them. I'm coming to legal documents on them. So therefore, I advise you, it's on two things: is for the right or you for the wrong, good and evil, righteous and unrighteous. Ain't no in between. You know what I mean? You the enemy or you stand for you're part of the team. So, but as far as anything else, I have no problem with my people. Give. But I'm coming to give and make way and support the community with no limits, no bounds, and no excuses. What I'm about to do and with the team that I got and God has blessed and favor with, it's a new thing. So therefore, it's we're the league of our own. So therefore, I ain't worried about the competition. I just know that we got open arms, everybody welcome, everybody invited. If you want to see where you can fit in at, you can do that. But if you ain't got the right intentions, a good heart, then it will be shown. You know what I mean? But we're not gonna lose, and change coming more sooner than later.
All right, y'all. We'll see you next
In the name of
Saturday
Jesus.
at 1 o'clock. God bless.